All praises to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and peace to everyone joining me on this program. This is a Fountain of Israel's Bible Studies program, and as always, it's an honor for me to stand before you on the Lord's holy Sabbath day. Now with that, I want to go ahead and get started with our lesson, but before that, a little bit of housekeeping, which is, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Smash that notification bell because I don't want you to miss any of our lessons. Check the description box down below. Leave some comments. I talk back. And the donation links are down there. You can do PayPal, Cash App, if you so desire. With that, we're going to go ahead and get started with our lesson. And the lesson is called Be Prepared. Now, about once a year, I'll kind of teach a lesson like this to kind of give us a sense of urgency. I just want to say at the outset, I'm not here to try to scare anyone. I just want people to have a readiness mindset because we are closer to the end. We are closer to his coming. We are closer. And the question is, are we ready for it? Now, there's three levels that we have to be ready. We have to be ready physically, mentally, and spiritually. We have to be there. You gotta, all three is perfect. You gotta get at least two of them, gotta be ready, right? We're all in different situations, different circumstances. We have different economic levels. And so there's only certain things we'll be able to do. But no matter how little, we're still expected to do it. Okay. So one of the things I want us to remember when it comes to this preparedness, a whole idea before I jump right into the scriptures, is that we have to understand that if we look at Exodus 12:11, Moses, Most High directed the Hebrews through Moses to say, hey, you know what? When we look at this first Passover, he tell everyone, he said, you know what? Gird up your loins, cover yourself, put on your belt, right? Gird up your loins with your shoes on your feet, staff in your hand. Basically, be ready, be prepared to move, be prepared to go, right? These are the things that we have to understand. It's almost like he's saying have a bug out bag, right? He said just be ready, okay? Be ready. You're not gonna be here very long, okay? You're not gonna be here much longer. Be ready. We look at the story of Noah. We don't have to go and read that over in Genesis. We know. We look at the story of Noah with the flood and everything. What did he start preparing when it started raining? Or did he start building the ark? It took him over 100 years, 200 years. It took him over a century of building. And also consider that how much faith did he have to, when would you have lost faith? That's what I want to know. When would you have, on what, 3 months in? You're building, no rain. It's supposed to be a flood. You're building. Okay, this is a pre-flood condition, right? So there wasn't a whole lot of bad weather. That's why a lot of people didn't even believe him. You got to understand, this is a pre-flood condition. There never had been a flood before. This is the first one, right? Never had been one before. So he's telling people, hey, get right. You got to be righteous. Worship God. Don't worship all these other gods. Don't worship all these demons and things like that. Don't do that. He's coming. Of course, the weather's, it's great. It's fine. Okay, we have to understand that the earth looked a lot different before it flooded because a lot of water came out of the great deep. The earth started cracking open. The sky started cracking open. All that water came from above and below. So it was really different. So it's pristine Garden of Eden-like conditions. And he's talking about this about to be a great flood. And he's building. How long will you build before you have lost hope? 6 months in? A year? 2? 5? 10? You want to go over 100 years? You want to try that? And still believe, doing and still having faith. We take a look at Joseph. He had to get prepared. He had to get prepared for the famine when he had to interpret the dream. He had to get prepared for 7 years of famine. So the Most High said, okay, you're going to have 7 years of plenty, and then you're going to have 7 years of famine. What are you going to do with it? Let's get prepared. And he got prepared, and he was ready, and he didn't get hit with that preparedness. With being unprepared. Don't get me wrong, famine did hit, but they were fine because he was prepared. The Egyptian dynasty at that time. Oh, they were just fine. People were coming to them for provision. So we have to understand the entirety of the Bible wants us to be prepared for eternity. That's what it wants for us. Be prepared. Being prepared is one of the themes of the Bible. Being prepared. Get ready. Get your life right. What is the old adage? Basic instructions before leaving Earth. Get prepared. So that's what I want us to keep in mind. So we're going to go ahead and jump into these scriptures. But just keep in mind, you got three options when it comes to this being prepared. One, you can do nothing. That's one of your options. You can do absolutely nothing. That's one. Two, you can move to a whole nother country. You can go overseas. That's an option. And I don't get me wrong. I already know everyone's not going to do that. I get it. And I can hear all the thought bubbles going around. Oh, well, if you go over here, then you can't do this, and then your American rights, and da-da. I get it. But some people are going to move, just get out of what they call, America, Babylon, or get out of these westernized nations, right? They want to get out of these, the superpowers. They want to get out of those type of nations, right? Because that's what's going to be the most distress. That's an option for some. Not everyone will be able to do it, but some people will do it. Or three, move out of the cities and move into the countries, into the suburban area. Get out of the major metropolitan areas, these population centers. Those are the three options. Do nothing, move overseas, move into the country. Those are your options. Now, there's a couple of things you can do, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But let me go ahead and jump into some of this. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about community, okay? Talk a little bit about community. Now, I was on a community kick because some people ask me about it. They'll say, hey, what's going on with the community? What happened? This and that. I'll tell you what happened. I'll be honest with you guys. I'll tell you what happened. Basically, there's no sense of urgency with some people. You do a call out, say, hey, let's do this, let's do that. Okay, it's gonna call for us to do this, put our resources together. We're gonna have to build this. We're gonna have to buy some land. We're gonna have to buy materials. We gotta start building. We gotta start relocating, getting to the land. Let's acquire this. Let's acquire that. What are the things we want to do? Had all logistics, everything laid out. Okay, what we're gonna do for power and what we're gonna do for backup. One is done and two is one. Okay, do the whole prepping, all of that, right? What we're gonna do as far as what type of animals. Obviously, we're gonna have chickens and goats and cows. Okay, we're gonna have all that. We're gonna have all the gardens, the different gardens. What vegetables, what fruits and vegetables are we going to grow? What are the resources around the land? What region of the country we're gonna move in? What are the best prices? What are the land masses? What are all these things. What about training regimens and things like that for security? All these things are laid out, typed, everything. But nobody wants to move. And so, hey, I can't make anyone do anything. And of course, the other thing is that they want you to do everything and then they want to move in when you're done. That's not going to work. Okay, that's not going to work. So the other option is go out on your own. Like I said, the whole overseas things, or homestead and just align yourself with other people around you. So we're gonna talk a little bit about the community, just letting you know that is a concept a lot of people do. Of course, you have communities like Straightway Truth and stuff like that, or doing a bang up job as far as community, despite whatever you hear, because as soon as you say that, some people will say, oh, well, this happened and that happened and all that. But for the most part, as far as a community, they're flourishing. Okay, they're flourishing. That's a pretty good model of what's going on, right? And when you think about, well, why community? Okay, I'll tell you why community is a viable option for some. Why community is because there's strength in numbers. That's one. If you have economic collapse, okay, when you have economic collapse and you have a lot of desperate, unprepared people, if you are in a community, you can defend yourself when you're in community. Other thing, you can also, or I should say, you really should realize a couple of things. During the Great Depression, okay, this is what the advent of the Industrial Revolution, people coming out of the countries into the cities, getting on assembly lines and all this other stuff. Then the Great Depression hits, okay? And when that hit, Who did it affect? It affected those who are in the city. Little do people know, it didn't really affect the people who are out on the farms, who were still back on the farms, the guys with the chicken and the cows and the goats, in gardens, in fields, and working the fields and things like that. Why? Because they didn't depend on their food from the grocery stores. Why were those people in soup lines in the cities? They're sitting in soup lines waiting to get something, get some soup and some bread. Why? Because they didn't have any food. They move out of the country into the city. So what happens? You guys had a little taste of that during the pandemic. You had a little taste of that during the pandemic. What happened? You go to the grocery store. You never thought the shelves would be empty at your local Walmart. You never thought that would happen. And yet, many of you went to the grocery store and saw empty shelves. These are the things that we have to think about. You've got a little sample of it during the pandemic. You got a sample of it during 2020. Got a little taste. You got a little taste of it. Still don't think you should be prepared? So we'll talk a little bit about community, a little bit. Okay? And then we're going to get into some other things. Okay? So I'm just going to go right into some community aspects of it, because there are some benefits. Acts chapter 2, I'm going to start at 41. Acts chapter 2 and 41. 41 to 46. 41 says, "Then they that gladly received his word were baptized, and the same day there were added unto them about 3,000 souls. And they continued steadfastly in the apostles' doctrine and fellowship, and in breaking of bread and in prayer. And fear came upon every soul, and many wonders and signs were done by the apostles. And all that believed were together and had all things common, and sold their possessions and goods and parted them to all men as every man had need. And they continually daily with one accord in the temple and breaking bread from house to house did eat their meat with gladness and singleness of heart, praising God and having favor with all the people. And the Lord added to the church daily such as should be saved." I just threw in 47, but we really didn't need that. I want you guys to understand something. Now, the whole community thing, even though it's a valuable option, not everybody's going to qualify for it, because not everyone's going to be able to have gladness and singleness of heart. If some people are going to come to community and they're going to be completely selfish, they're not going to bring anything to the table, and they're just going to want to receive. They're going to come with hands open and mouths open, and that's it. They're not going to contribute. And you get a bunch of people like that, or what is that going to look like, guys? If everyone's not contributing, just 2 ticks, no dog. Okay? Suck, 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 suck. That's it. That is not going to work. You're not going to be able to survive with that. You're not going to be able to thrive in a community with that. You got to have singleness of mind. You got to be unselfish. Look what happened. "And sold their possessions and goods and parted them to all men as every man had need." Okay? Now, before anybody says, "Oh, this brother just trying to get you to give him his money," but no, I'm not. I'm not even trying to do a community anymore. You guys go do it. Okay? You go do it. Okay? A good model, like I said, straight. That's a good model. They're making this happen. What we just read, they're making this happen. So I'll be foolish to say, "Oh, it doesn't work," when there's communities out there working. That'd be ignorant. Okay, so this is a viable option. You guys have at it, and I don't mean that sarcastically. If you can pull this thing off, you will be all the better. You will be able to what? Come out of her, my people. And we'll get to that. Let's go to Acts 4. We're in the book of Acts. We're going to go to 4, and we're going to read 31 and 32. 31 and 32. And what does it say here? It says, "And when they had prayed, the place was shaken where they were assembled together, and they were all filled with the Holy Ghost, and they spake the word of God with boldness. And a multitude of them that believed were of one heart and of one soul. Neither said any of them that aught of which things he possessed was his own, but they had all things common. See, before you even think about living in community, before you even think about it, you got to have one heart, one soul. We are one. We are the body of the Mashiach. We're one. What's mine is yours. What's yours is mine. It has to be that, or it doesn't work. It's really that simple. And I'm gonna tell you. See, the other thing, when you do start the community, when you do start that community, what you're gonna find out is people get found out because who you really are. It's a litmus test. Your character is revealed. It comes out because you can only pretend for so long, and also your selfishness and your greed will come out. And no, brothers and sisters, I'm not projecting. I don't live in a community. I don't have a community. I never lived in a community. Okay, visit communities, but I never lived in a community and gone through this stuff. I'm just going with what I know from what I see and talking to people who have the experience. From what I know, what I've seen, and talking to people who actually have the experience. Okay. So I'm passing along what I have learned. Okay. So it's not projection. So some people think about it. They like the idea of community. They like that. They're like, oh wow, we're all together. Our family, we're all worshiping Yah, and our family and our children can grow up with children that's just like us, and we know we're all being taught the same thing. And all. That's great. It is. But are you ready for that? Can you do that? Can you be completely selfless? Can you grow and prepare food for other people other than your mouth and other than your family? Can you teach and nurture other children? Can you watch another man's back? Meaning, can you be selfless? Can you be of one heart, one mind, living in one accord? Sure, problems will arise because humans are gonna human. But can you be mature enough to resolve any issues that may arise? And allow the Holy Spirit, allow the Ruach HaKodesh to rest on the community. That's what needs to be thought about before you go jump into community. Other model of community. Well, if you don't be in a community like a straightway community, then you can be like in more of a patriarchal community or judges or something like that. Every man's a patriarch in his own household, but you don't dwell on one land. You dwell in what we would probably call like a neighborhood. But again, I'm still talking about way out in the country, right? Okay, this guy has 20 acres, this guy has 30 acres, this guy has 10, this one has 15, this one has 50, this one has 200, whatever the case may be. And you're just living in proximity of one another. It may not be just your land, but you're living in proximity of one another, and you can assist one another in times of need. Even in times of not need, you come together, once a week, once a month or something, and do something together. Strategize and do something together. Have a strategic plan for when the zombie apocalypse. What do I mean by that? It just means people who are unprepared and desperate. Those are the zombies. Unprepared and desperate. And you strategize it. Can you do that? Then, of course, you can go at it alone. Just be a lone ranger. You can do that. That's option number 3 with a couple of models there. Option number 2, go overseas. Go to another country, scope out another country. For when things get bad, you're in a pretty good spot. Again, you're not running from the government. You're just getting out of heavily focused population centers. Maybe you're going somewhere where your dollar stretches a little bit further. And you can be a little bit more comfortable. Or you can say, you know what? Let me use the strength of the dollar to go to another country that is friendly to America, and I can buy this land. I can be off where nobody is bothering me. Okay? I could be in the jungles of Costa Rica somewhere by myself, grow my food. I can do all that. I can prep. Okay? Just remember, Yah says all the world is mine. Okay? Don't let fear guide you. Okay, don't let fears like, oh, well, you know, you go to this country. Okay, then then automatically you're assuming America's the best country in every single way. But when we look at certain metrics or whatever, we know that's not going to be the case. We know that it's not true. When you look at certain metrics, America is not the best country in every single way. Okay. Now, again, I'm not saying to go or not to go. That's up to you. Do your own due diligence. Do whatever you want. What I am saying is be prepared. That's all I'm saying. That is the message. Be prepared. Okay? So let's go ahead and keep going. Let's see here. Where are we? Be prepared, be prepared, be prepared. Let's go on up to Proverbs real quick. If you're going to move somewhere, it doesn't matter where we are. Okay, we're going to go into Jeremiah and we'll see where, he wants us to do what we got to do. And we'll get there. We'll get there. But right now, for now, let's go to Proverbs 6. And 6, and we'll read up to 11. It says what? Go to the ant, thou sluggard. Consider her ways and be wise. What does sluggard mean? Sluggish, lazy, indolent, slothful. Okay? He's calling you lazy. Lazy. All right? Let me go back. Go to the ant, thou sluggard. Consider her ways and be wise. Which having no guide, overseer, or ruler, provided her meat in the summer and gathered her food in the harvest. See, she's giving us a great example, right? Then he says, how long wilt thou sleep, O sluggard? Talking about you, O lazy person. When wilt thou arise out of thy sleep? Yet a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to sleep. So shall thy poverty come as a man that travaileth, and thy want, your lack, your need, as an armed man. It's not good, guys. It's not good. And he's saying you got poverty coming. If you do nothing, if you don't prepare, you got poverty coming. And again, it's not fear mongering. You might think, oh, he's just trying to, I'm not trying to scare you. I'm trying to prepare you. Now, let me ask you this. If you save up for your 401k, is that fear mongering? Or are you just trying to be prepared for retirement? You see what I'm saying? If you're putting back in your IRA, or you're fear mongering, or you're just trying to be prepared. Oh, you better get some insurance. You better get some insurance. Are you fear mongering, or you're trying to be prepared just in case something happens? Let's continue. Proverbs 28. Proverbs 28. I'm going to read 19 and 20. 19. He that tilleth his land shall have plenty of bread, but he that followeth after vain persons shall have poverty enough. A faithful man shall abound with blessings, but he that maketh haste to be rich shall not be innocent. That's the fast money. Okay, you want to take shortcuts, all money, not good money. It's not the problem. Money's not the problem, okay? Because we need money to do certain things. Is you trying to take shortcuts. You're trying to take the quick come up. Obviously, if you take shortcuts and do something illegal, you're not innocent. Okay? Enough on that. But a faithful man shall abound in blessings, being faithful. Noah was faithful. Did he abound in blessings? Yeah. Joseph was faithful. Did he abound in blessings? Yeah, that's two for two. Moses was faithful. Did he abound in blessings? That's 3 for 3. He did. And all three of them prepared. All three of them had to get prepared, had to move their feet. Let's keep going. A little bit more Proverbs. Proverbs 22 and 3. Proverbs 22 and 3, which says, a prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself. But the simple pass on and are perish. But the simple pass on and are perish. You know what hideth is? You know what hideth is? You know what? You know what? I'll go back to it. I'll just go to it. But it means to conceal yourself, right? But it says, foreseeth the evil, okay? So hide it, to hide, conceal, hide oneself, to conceal, hidden away carefully, okay, hide oneself. Be absent, okay, keep close, conceal, secret, stuff like that, okay? That's what it means by getting out of the city, okay? Getting out of these population centers. You're hiding yourself from, not the government, they know where you are, but you're hiding yourself from desperate, unprepared people. And it says what? That you see the evil? What does it say, verse 3? Let's go back over there. Sees the evil. Okay. Bad, disagreeable, malignant, bad, unpleasant. See, something unpleasant, something displeasing. Okay, something bad. It's kind of like land, bad water, bad value. Worse than, sad, unhappy, evil, bad, unkind, wicked. You're going to see some wickedness, bad, evil in general, of persons, of thoughts, of deeds, of actions. So let's go back to it. I'll help you out. A prudent man foreseeth the zombie apocalypse, see desperate, unprepared people, and hides himself. But the simple pass on and are punished. People who don't think it's a big deal. It's no big deal. The government will take care of us. Don't worry about it. You see? No big deal. That's how you want to live your life? That's up to you. Completely up to you. Proverbs 20. Proverbs 20. You think it's no big deal? Completely up to you. 4, and then we'll jump around. It says, the sluggard will not plow by reason of the cold. Therefore shall he beg in harvest and have nothing. He's not going to be ready. He shall beg in harvest and have nothing. Drop down to 13. Love not sleep, lest thou come to poverty. Open thine eyes, foreseeth the evil. Open thy eyes, and thou shalt be satisfied with bread. Prepare yourself. Hide yourself. Till your land. We're starting to get it. Is it starting to sink in a little bit? Let's look at it. Let's look at it on 26 and 16. Proverbs 26:16. What does that say? The sluggard is wiser in his own conceit than 7 men that can render a reason, right? Me and 7 other guys can give a sluggard, someone who is lazy, who doesn't want to do it. We can give him all the reasons in the world, but he's convinced in his own mind that it's not necessary. It's not worth it. It's too much work. Or the Most High will save us. Moses was righteous and he still had to prepare and have faith and works. Noah was righteous, but he still had to prepare. He had to have faith and works. Joseph was righteous. You see where I'm going? Let's see, Proverbs, let's see here, 20, did we do 21? Let me see if I did 21:20 already. Proverbs 21:20. And see, there's a treasure to be desired and oil in the dwellings of the wise, but a foolish man spendeth it up. Yeah, just like retirement. If you were just taking every dime, every penny you make and you spending it all today and not putting something back for tomorrow, you are the fool that spendeth it up. See, there's going to be a day when you physically cannot work, or physically it's going to be super, super difficult. You think the elderly or Walmart greeters and stuff, you think that's what they want to do? You think that's how they want to spend their golden years? You think all of them feel that way? Now, sure, some of them may do it just to have something to do. You think all of them feel that way? Now, even in the land of our captivity, we're still supposed to get prepared. We're supposed to live. We're supposed to do what we got to do. We're still supposed to do what we got to do. We got to live life. But we still have to keep watch. Jeremiah 29. Jeremiah 29, starting in verse 5. And it says, "What? Build ye houses and dwell in them, and plant gardens and eat the fruit of them." Okay, so you living your life, right? 6, "Take ye wives and beget sons and daughters, and take wives for your sons and give your daughters to husbands, that they may bear sons and daughters, that ye may be increased there," where you are, "and not diminished," where you are. Captivity. 7, "And seek the peace of that city, which I have caused you to be carried away captives." We're carried away captive, right? Okay. "And pray unto the Lord for it, for in the peace thereof shall ye have peace." Because if the city has peace, you'll have peace. Don't worry about it, okay? If you do that. "For thus said the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, let not your prophets nor your diviners that be in the midst, that are right there with you, don't let them deceive you, neither hearken to their dreams, which ye cause to be dreamed. For they prophesy falsely unto you in my name, and I have not sent them, says the Lord." Okay, so we're going to be in our land of captives, and guess what else we have? You got a bunch of false prophets, false diviners out there. "Oh, the Lord gave me a dream and he told me." Don't listen to all that, okay? Because if someone is telling you not to prepare and don't worry about it and lean on just faith and that is it, then you already know it is a false prophet and the Most High did not send them. If the whole of the Bible is telling you on a macro level, prepare for eternity, right? We can all agree with that, right? It's telling us to prepare for eternity, prepare for his coming, prepare. Then on a micro level, it's telling these individuals that prepare, it's telling Noah to prepare, it's telling Joseph to prepare, it's telling Moses to prepare, so on and so forth. Get ready. Christ he prepared himself 40 days in the wilderness, right? He prepared himself. He tells his disciples, get prepared, do this, do that. I'm going to go away and I'm going to come back. Be prepared. So if someone goes against that message, you already know it's a false prophet. You already know. You can just stop listening to them. Just stop. Says the Most High. Now, how do we do it? Let's go one more time over here in Proverbs real quick. Proverbs 24 and 27. Now look at this. It says what? "Prepare thy work without," outside. Okay, this is when you get some land. "And make it fit for thyself in the field, and afterwards build thine house." So you make it fit for so you prepare your field. Guess why? Why is that? Well, there's wisdom, because because if anyone planted anything, it takes time to grow. So you prepare your field, your soil got to be right and all the right mineral and all that other stuff, right? Irrigation. There's a lot of things you got to do. Prepare your soil, right? Then you start planting and all. You till the land and aerate it, and then you got to start planting and all that other stuff, right? So boom, once that's set, okay, and then what are you going to grow? Oh, we're going to grow some carrots and potatoes and corn and whatever, right? You can start growing that. You're going to grab some fruit, okay, where you're going to start planting these trees. It's going to take a long time for these things to grow. So get that going, get that and let get that set, and let nature start taking its course, then start building a house on your land. Now, of course, some people can just buy land with a house already on it and everything's good to go. But for those who are building from scratch, then this is your blueprint. Right? This is your blueprint. Then, of course, you have your storehouse, your barn house, your shipping container, and you start filling that up with stuff. You fill that up for provision. So now you got provisions while your food start growing. We're gonna let's keep going. This whole thing is about being prepared. Luke 11:21. When a strong man armed keepeth his palace, his goods are in peace. So you have to be able to protect what you have. Be prepared, do it, and then protect what you have. Now, again, if you are stuck in the city in these major population centers, it's going to be harder and harder for you to protect it because you can't take on everyone. Okay? So we're going to go over to Revelation 18:4. And I heard, Revelation 18:4, and I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that you receive not of her plagues. This is when you coming out of the cities, getting out of these cities. Some cities will be laid desolate. Now, of course, coming out of Babylon, coming out of false religion, calling out false doctrine and all that. I'm covering all the ground, right? I'm covering all the ground. But part of it's coming out of the cities. If you're up to your neck in desperate people and you have a little something, don't you think they're going to want, and they know you have it, don't you think they're going to want to take it from you? Does that stand to reason? Jeremiah 51:45. Jeremiah 51:45. It says, my people, go ye out of the midst of her, and deliver ye every man his soul from the fierce anger of the Lord. Go out from the midst of her. Deliver yourself, every man. Deliver yourself, brothers and sisters. Okay? Now let's go ahead and get a little bit more preparedness here. 1 Timothy 4:8, which reads, for bodily exercise profiteth little, but godliness is profitable unto all things, having promise of the life that now is, and of that which is to come. Okay? So it's nothing wrong. I mean, bodily, you need to be in shape. Okay, you need to be in shape, but you can't just get physically in shape and then neglect the spiritual and the mental side of this preparedness. You can't just neglect that, right? Okay, so you're just gonna have a nice physique in the lake of fire if you're not ready. Okay, so let's not forget that. 1 Corinthians. I'm moving a little fast here because I got so much ground to cover. 1 Corinthians 6:19 and 20. It says, what? Know ye not that your body is the temple of the Holy Ghost, which is in you, which ye have of God? You are not your own. For ye are bought with a price, therefore glorify God in your body and in your spirit, which are God's, right? My point here is that you're not your own. So if you do belong to him, he is your Lord, your master, your savior. He's your Messiah. And he tells you to flee, run to the mountain, head for the hills. Then you're supposed to do it. You're under his authority. He knows where he's going to lay out all his wrath, and he's trying to get you and I out of the way. So if he says that you need to move, then what do you think you need to do? Let's keep it going, brothers and sisters. Let's keep it moving. 1 Corinthians, we can go 16 and 13. 1 Corinthians 16 and 13, which reads, watch ye, stand fast in the faith, quit you like men, be strong. Now this is where we're going to get into this spiritual awareness. You need to be spiritually aware of these things and watch. The wise man foreseeth the evil. Watch. He's already said he's coming back. Watch. We're going to keep going. 1 Peter. Take these scriptures down, brothers and sisters. 1 Peter 5:8. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walking about seeking whom he may devour. Be sober, be vigilant. Who do you think wants you to be unprepared? Who do you think wants you to be devoured? Who do you think want you to lose heart, lose faith? Who do you think want you to do that? Join me over in 2 Timothy 2:21. If a man therefore purge himself from these, he shall be a vessel unto honor, sanctified and meet for the master's use. That's what we want. And prepared unto every good work. Being prepared unto every good work. This is what we're looking for. Being prepared unto every good work. Join me over in Matthew 25. Matthew 25. And what does he says? He gives us this parable, the 10 virgins. You guys heard it, but we're going to do it again anyway. I want you to look at something. Then shall the kingdom of heaven be likened unto 10 virgins, which took their lamps and went forth to meet the bridegroom. And 5 of them were wise, and 5 were foolish. Let's see the difference. They that were foolish took their lamps and took no oil with them. They were not prepared. They were not ready. But the wise took oil in their vessels with their lamps. They were ready. While the bridegroom tarried, they all slumbered and slept. And at midnight there was a cry made, Behold, the bridegroom cometh, go ye out to meet him. And then all those virgins arose and trimmed their lamps. And the foolish said unto the wise, Give us of your oil, for our lamps are gone out. But the wise answered, saying, Not so, lest there be not enough for us and you. But go ye rather to them that sell and buy for yourselves. And while they went to buy, the bridegroom came, and they that were ready went in with him to the marriage, and the door was shut. No. You see, this is the difference. It's really this simple. Are you going to be one of the 5 foolish or one of the 5 wise? And the difference is 5 were prepared and 5 were not. That doesn't need any further breaking down now, does it? Not really. That's the point. The 5 that were prepared went in, and the door was shut behind them. Let us continue, brothers and sisters. Let us continue. I'm going to go over to Matthew 24. Now let me go 16 real quick. 16. Let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains. Flee into the, get away from where there's a lot of people. Flee into the mountains. Get out of these high population concentration. A high population of people. Particularly if we don't believe the same thing. Particularly if we don't serve the same Yah. Does that make sense? We've got to keep that in mind. Let's go to 43. 43. But know this, that if the good man of the house had known in what watch the thief would come, he would have watched and would not have suffered his house to be broken up. Therefore, be ye also ready, for in such an hour as you think not, the Son of Man cometh. Who then is as faithful and wise servant, whom his Lord has made ruler over his household to give them meat in due season? Blessed is that servant whom his Lord, when he cometh, shall find so doing, preparing, doing the work. Doing the work. Getting it done. Who is he going to come? Who is he going to find so doing? I told you your options. You got to get with the program and do one of them. Got to do something. Nothing is an option too, but good luck with that. Let's keep going. I'm going to go over to Luke 12. Luke 12, we're going to read 35 to 38. Let your loins be girded about and your lights burning, and yourselves like unto men that wait for their Lord, when he will return from the wedding, that when he cometh to knock it, they may open it unto him immediately. That they may open unto him immediately. Blessed are those servants whom the Lord, when he comes, shall find watching. Verily I say unto you, that he shall gird himself and make them to sit down to meat, and will come forth and serve them. And if he shall come in the second watch or in the third watch and find them so, blessed are those servants. So it doesn't matter how long you have to wait. Oh, he's been coming for the last 2,000 years. It doesn't matter how long are you going to be ready when he does come? And if you should die before he comes, which resurrection are you going to wake up in? There's two. Which one do you want to be in? All the bases are covered. Either you're going to be here when he returns, or you're going to wake up when he returns. You still need to be prepared for both. What's it going to be? Let's keep it going. We're going to go to Luke 21. Luke 21. And I'm going to go straight to 36 and then we'll backtrack a little bit. 36, it says, watch ye therefore and pray always, that ye may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass, and to stand before the Son of Man. And I want to back up a little bit. And we're going to go to 21 to 24. 21 reads this way. Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out, and let not them that are in the countries enter therein. So if you're out in the country, don't come into the city. Don't come into the city when everything goes a little crazy. Don't come into the cities. That's the last place you want to be. For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. Now, of course, let me go ahead and say this as a disclaimer and as a side note. One, I know he's talking about 70 AD here, okay? But we also know this also foreshadows future events as well. Because a lot of things happened on a small scale, just like 2020. 2020 happened to it. That's small compared to what's going to happen on a global scale. That's peanuts. That's nothing compared to what's going to happen. Let's give you a preview. Just like this kind of gives us a preview of what's going to happen. So I understand that. But I do believe that it is applicable to today and what is to come. Same strategy. When distress hit these major cities, flee to the country, flee to the mountains, flee to the wilderness, get out of here. And don't come to the city. And what else he says over here? I'm going up to, reading all the way up to like 24. We just did 22, 23, and 24. 23 says this, but woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. For there shall be great distress in the land, and wrath upon his people. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations. That's what happened to us. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. And we're still in the times of the Gentiles. And we're going to be entering a season of Jacob's trouble, and it's coming. Will you be prepared? That's the ultimate question. Will you be prepared? So let's continue our walk through the Bible. Be sober, watch, be sober, watch, be sober, watch. 1 Thessalonians 5 and 6. 1 Thessalonians 5 and 6. Therefore, let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober. Watch and be sober. Let me drive it home. Watch and be sober. Put it in the comment section down below. Watch and be sober. What do they say in Sunday church? Tell your neighbor, watch and be sober. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it moving. Here's a good reason why. Revelation 3 and 3. He says, remember therefore how thou hast received and heard, like you just did, and hold fast and repent. I was just telling you, if therefore thou shalt not watch, I will come on thee as a thief, and thou shalt not know what hour I will come upon thee. Watch and be sober. Be prepared. Watch and be sober. We're going to go to our last place over here. Our last place. Mark 13. Mark 13, and we're going to pick it up at 33. Reads this way. Take ye heed, watch and pray, for ye know not when the time is. For the Son of Man is that a man taking a far journey, who left his house and gave authority to his servants, and to every man his work, and commanded the porter to watch. Watch ye therefore, for ye know not when the master of the house cometh, at even, or at midnight, or at the cock crows, or in the morning, lest coming suddenly he find you sleeping. And what I say unto you, I say unto all, watch. So brothers and sisters, I covered a lot of ground. I started going through, I just started sweeping through the scriptures. I could have went slow, but I wanted to, I'll try to get it all in, 1 hour. There's other lessons in the Bible that can be learned. And I'll say again, like I said at the outset, you have 3 options. It's up to you. You got 3 options. You can do nothing. You can move overseas, or you can go into a community, live into community, or move out into the country. Either by yourself or into a community. Or form strategic alliances. Because this whole idea of prepping is not just a bunch of doomsday conspiracy theorists. It's not relegated to that. That would be just dismissive. Because the idea of prepping has been throughout the Bible. As I said in the beginning, I said that the Most High, through Moses, wanted to prepare the Israelites, prepare them for what was coming, prepare them to go into the promised land, prepare them to leave Egypt, gird up their loins, shoes on their feet, staff in their hand, be ready to go. He prepared Noah for his great flood. He prepared Joseph for the famine. He told us through Jeremiah, go these lands where I sent you, build your houses, get your food ready, live life, you're going to be there. Take wives, sons, daughters, all that, and be ready. He told us that. Then, of course, I told you that we need to prepare both physically, mentally, and spiritually, and be aware. And last and certainly not least, we need to watch, be sober, be vigilant. Take this seriously. If it's a breakdown tomorrow, would you be prepared? I'm not 100% prepared. If we look at the story of the 10 talents, some people say, well, you know, my situation is different. Yes, everybody's situation is a little bit different. Everyone's situation is a little bit different. I get it. I understand. But look at the story of the 10 of the talents. 10 talents, 5 talents, 1 talent. And even at the 1 talent, he was expecting the servant to do something with it. And he did nothing. He just buried it. So those of you that do not have very much, you have 1 talent. What are you going to do with it? I also said earlier, I alluded to the fact that there's strength in numbers. I did a conference call with a group of young ladies, and one of the questions when we got to the Q&A session, one of the questions were, well, you know, what if you have a disability or something, or you don't have a whole lot of money or something like that? I'm like, well, then community might be a good idea for you. There's strength in numbers. You can pool your resources, and hey, let's say you have a disability. Depending on the disability, I don't know what it is, but depending on the disability, what can you do with your 1 talent that can benefit the group as a whole? Maybe you cannot physically get out in the field and work and do laborious acts, right? Maybe you cannot do that, but can you maybe teach children? Maybe can you watch them, you know, like daycare while everybody else is working? Can you prepare food for everybody else? What can you do with your 1 talent that can benefit other people so that you are pulling your own weight? So many things that we can do. Don't underestimate your 1 talent, because a master expects you to do something with that 1 talent. So, again, this message isn't about scaring you. It's about me trying to give you a sense of urgency, so that you may see the necessity to prepare. It is needful, and I would even say it's incumbent upon us to prepare for our own good. But that's left in your hand. You do what you will. I hope someone has been edified by this particular lesson. And before we sign off, let me remind you to like, share, subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Smash that notification bell, because I don't want you to miss any of our lessons. Leave a comment down below. In the description box, there are the links for donations if you feel so inclined. So until next time, search the scriptures, improve all things. Shalom, Israel.